How are you all doing? James here. So this is video number 2 in my video blogs or vlogs, if you will, of my experience in terms of the Marie Curie Fellowship over in the States. So just to give you kind of an update since the last one, it's probably been a few weeks. I've definitely been settling into life in Boston a little bit more. As you can see, the weather is pretty good, which obviously makes it easier. Also got sorted and set up in an apartment, which really means an awful lot. Just behind me here, this is Newton Centre. So we're staying in Newton, which is about 6 miles outside Boston city centre. It's only like 25 minutes on the T. And in terms of me going to UMASS, to the university, it's roughly around 35 miles away. So in terms of driving, it's fine. Commuting at the moment is taking me about 2.5 hours because I need to get a number of like I need to get a T, which is like their light rail. Then I need to get a train, then a bus. So it's a bit of a pain at the moment. But I'm hoping to get a car in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Obviously, that'll make an awful difference. Since the last video, I kind of just, I guess I kind of let you know that things were a little bit difficult in terms of me coming here and getting outside of my comfort zone around dyslexia and being, I guess, away from Ireland and just settling into something new. And in the 7 weeks since I've been here, it certainly is an awful lot easier now. I think the fact that we have an apartment sorted makes a massive difference. So I have somewhere to live. And I'm not living in an Airbnb, but also my wife came over about 2 weeks ago, Kate, so that's made a big difference as well. And I had a good friend of mine here for a week, for maybe 10 days, George Gallagher. So we did a bit of touristing around the place, and we kind of took in a few of the sites, popped down to Cape Cod for 2 days, which was great. And I think it allowed me to kind of relax a little bit as well and get into it. In terms of the research, in terms of what I'm doing, it's kind of a quiet time, July, in academic circles here, but it has allowed me to sort of explore what I want to do, what the program is going to mean to me. There's a really good summer school and summer camp happening within UMASS, which I'm popping along to next week. So that's I think it's called the Ability Camp, the Shriver Ability Camp, and really it's half of the places are given to students with disabilities and half are given to able students. So it's a really good initiative. So I'm popping along there to see how that works and maybe see if we can bring some of those ideas back to Ireland. Outside of that, I've booked into a really good conference that's happening in Toronto at the start of August. So I think that's really going to be one of the serious starting points in terms of my research. I've literally booked into as many sessions on that conference as I possibly can. So I'm going to do all the preliminary sessions, I'm going to do the follow-on sessions, really to get an understanding, and some of the best minds in terms of assistive technology and AAC are going to be at that conference. So in terms of tapping into some of my key strengths, I'm going to try and do as much networking as is possible, get as many meetings under my belt at that event as is possible. And I think that should be really, like I say, the kick-off. There's not a whole pile else to share, but I just thought it was important to kind of tell you where I was at, what I'm looking to do, and what this next 3 or 4 weeks are going to look like. The next time I do this, I'm going to do it, I think, from Toronto. I'm going to film some of the Toronto setup. There's one kind of key thing I think it's important to highlight here. I've been in and around disability for a number of years now, and I've got a good understanding of where it's at in terms of in Ireland and across Europe. But the one thing that strikes me here in America, in terms of disability, it's not necessarily a lot different in terms of accessibility. Okay, Boston and Massachusetts is pretty accessible. Transport is pretty accessible, which is great. But what I've realised that it's not that sort of charitable status that, oh my God, it's a person with disabilities, so we better be seen to be doing something. It's actually that they have a right, to being allowed access to buildings. They have a right, and I think that's really important, and that is the ethos that I see here, like that people really want. They go to their way to help people with disabilities, which is absolutely amazing. And one key thing, the last thing I'm going to share with you, is I just saw there this week that ABC, one of the networks here, are going to have, sorry, my camera's falling. ABC are going to have a sitcom coming out in September, which is going to be called Speechless. So it's about a student, an individual that is non-verbal, that's using a mobility chair and is using technology, and it's one of their key offerings this year in terms of sitcoms. I mean, I think that's absolutely amazing, and it's going to do great things for people that are non-verbal. It's hopefully going to bring disability and that whole area in assistive technology to the fore. So I look forward to sort of reporting on that a little bit further down the line as well. Okay, have a great week. Lovely to chat to you all, and I look forward to catching up with some of you via email and Facebook. Talk soon. Thanks.